Teenage rebellion and how to survive these times. Once you're past the toddler stage, many parents think the worst is over. The tantrums, the rule breaking and boundary pushing are history, and you're finally able to communicate with your child and know you're understood. Teenage rebellion and defiance are hallmarks of adolescence and can be difficult waters to navigate for families. Unlike previous generations, today's teens have social media to contend with, which is ripe for rebellious behavior. The first order of business is to make sure your rebellious or defiant teenage behaviors is not a response to some specific incident or problem. As hard as it may be at times, giving your teens some space to explore their identity while still providing them with love, support, and guidance will help them learn important lessons about responsibility and respect that will serve them well in adulthood. Teenagers tend to rebel when they feel that their independence and autonomy are not being respected by the adults in their lives. They may also rebel if they feel a lack of control or if they experience perceived double standard when it comes to rules, expectations, and consequences. Common causes of rebellion may include a desire for freedom, feeling powerless or unheard, or a need for attention and validation. The effect of teenage rebellion can be both physical and emotional. Physically, teens who engage in rebellious behavior may be more likely to experience health issues and even violence. Emotionally, teens may face mental issues like depression and anxiety or difficulty with relationships. When dealing with a rebellious teen, it is important to understand how to handle the situation in a way that is both effective and respectful. Parents should take steps to listen and empathize with their teenagers while also setting strong boundaries and expectations. This can help teens feel respected while also giving parents an opportunity to explain why certain behaviors are inappropriate and unacceptable. It's not always easy for teenagers to express their feelings and opinions, so they may act out in ways that can be difficult for parents. However, there are some steps parents can take to help their teenage navigate through this turbulent time. One key thing is to remain calm when responding to your teen rebellious behavior. Rather than punish them or respond with anger, try having an open dialogue with them and listening without judgment or criticism. This encourages your teen to open up and express themselves honestly without fear of repercussions or reprimand. Additionally, try giving them some freedom within limits. Demonstrates trust in your teen by allowing them more control over their decisions while setting clear boundaries that they need to adhere to. Remember, surviving teenage rebellion is a testament to your strength, resilience, and ability to adapt. It's important to acknowledge and celebrate your growth while continue to learn and evolve as you navigate through difficult stages of life.
All right, you are welcome back. It's to Family and Values. Like you heard, teenage rebellion is what is happening in most of our houses. And behind the camera, I was actually talking to my guest, and my guest was like, a lot of people actually deal with this in their African homes. But I feel like people don't actually deal with, you know, teenage rebellion. They just feel like, okay, the person is being he or the person is being she, just being themselves. Well, you know, I know you'll be wondering who this guest is. Of course, we have a very interesting guest for you, and her name is Barrister Anu Lawal. She's a deep counselor, a certified leadership and management person, and she's also a member of the Institute of Chartered Arbitrators. It's good to have you, Barrister.
Thank you for having me once again.
Yes, you're welcome.
Good morning, good people.
Yes, good morning. How is this Monday starting up for you?
Oh,
it's Monday, right?
It's Monday, indeed.
Okay, yes. We talked about teenage rebellion. First, a lot of people might not understand what teenage rebellion is. They'll be like, okay, maybe it's just a name that people just coined. So I just want to know, can you explain what teenage rebellion is, and at what age, or is there a stage that you start observing that there's always, I feel like every teenager has a stage where they will be rebellious, yes. So what stage or age do they start, and what exactly is teenage rebellion?
Teenage rebellion is basically when the teenager does not want to abide with rules and regulations. The teenager wants to be independent earlier than expected. The teenager wants to be the one controlling his or her life, irrespective of whose or hers are God. He doesn't care if the mom is happy or the dad doesn't like what he or she is doing. That is basically what rebellion is. Trying to be independent before time. Not caring whose us are God, not caring, I don't want to watch TV at this time, I don't want to eat at this time. Everything must be about him or her. Once it's not in accordance to what he or she wants, then it doesn't go with it. That's a very typical example of rebellion.
Imagine. I can imagine when a teenager wants to be independent when he's not yet supposed to be independent.
Yes.
Definitely that teenager will be rebellious. Okay, now that is very good. So is there a factor that ignites this rebelliousness? Like when they decide to be rebellious, is there something that actually happens to them before they now said, okay, I'm not hearing what mommy and daddy is saying anymore?
Psychologists have told us that there's this age, this teenage age, once they are 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, the hormonal changes, the growth, the body system, everything changes. And that puberty hormones are always high. So it affects them one way or the other. So if they are not able to manage that hormonal change, that change in puberty level, and they are used to it, or it goes out of hand, then the rebellion is something one must look in. That's when it becomes rebellion. Normally teenagers go through it. That puberty stage, that hormonal change, that thing. It's a mental thing. I'm now 13, I'm now 14, I can go out by myself, I can read by myself. So it's a psychological and mental thing. But if it's not managed, then it becomes rebellion. Everybody, every child, girl, boy, has to go through that puberty stage. And once those hormones kick in, no, it runs here and there. And
you know, while you're speaking, I'm trying to, track back to my, young age. Like, was I rebellious? I can actually find myself being rebellious. Like when they say sit down there, don't go out, I don't think I was. But is it possible for you not to actually be rebellious? Like you should not even go through that stage at all. Is it possible?
There's no how you go through that puberty stage, that hormonal stage. Okay, let me ask you, wasn't there a time your mommy told you, go and wash those plates? And you're like, later,
before?
That's the thing. That's yes. That's why I said if it's not properly managed. It turns to rebellion.
Okay.
It's like a 2-year-old girl. Don't go there. Before you know what is happening, the girl is already there. And you're like, I told you not to go there again. They now get a hint of it that don't go there. That's why if that hormonal stage, that puberty stage, it is me, I want to sleep at this time. Go to bed, you are going to school tomorrow.
I was still watching TV even sometimes.
That's part of it. So if it's not well managed, then it becomes... the teenager gets used to it, it's like, if I tell my mommy I'm not going there, there's nothing she's going to do. Then it gets into them, then it becomes rebellion.
So now at this point, for parents out there that don't even understand if their child is being rebellious, if it's hormonal, or their child is just being stubborn. There are some children that are naturally just stubborn. You won't call that a rebellious stage. Now, what can we use to differentiate a child that is being stubborn and a child that is actually very rebellious?
There is really a very thin line, because being stubborn is one of the traits of being rebellious, Being stubborn, don't go to the kitchen at this time. It's exactly that time that he wants to go there. Some people now see it as being stubborn. That is, if you don't quickly nip it at the bud, it's going to get out of hand. I read something online like last week. A child got home, told the mother, one of my classmates is always bullying me. And they're like, what do you know? He's bullying. You now go to a state, the girl does not want to go to school. That was when they knew that something was out of order. The mother went to the school, fortunately got in contact with the other kid's mother and was like, my daughter does not want to come to school. She said, your son is always bullying him. Please do something. Do you know what the mother said? That's the way he bullies us at home. And the daughter's mother was like, what? That's your headache. Let it stop in the house. Once he comes to school.
To the public.
You know that if that mother of the bully does not do anything about it, it's going to continue, and the boy is going to get used to it. It's going to get used to
like that's the right. Yes.
because the parents at home are not correcting him. You don't bully people. You don't talk down on people. You won't want them to do the same thing to you.
Of course.
So once that cannot be put in place, it transmits outside, and the teachers are not doing anything. Before you know what is happening, when that boy becomes a teenager, be telling the father, don't talk to me like that. I said I'm not doing. So once anything, stubbornness is not cautioned and put in check, it becomes rebellion.
Wow, that's very, very deep. Anyways, what causes children to actually get rebellious? You mentioned one, you said hormonal, changes. Let's leave the hormonal changes, which is very normal. Aside from hormonal changes, what are the things that actually pushes our children to actually get rebellious?
The way God made the whole cosmos, we do what we see most 99% of the time. Children are wired to do what they constantly see. Even unconsciously. But once they're always watching, dad is always shouting, mommy is always quarreling, mommy wants to talk to the housemaid, is at the top of her voice, shouting, everybody is shivering when daddy comes. Unconsciously, the child imbibes that. And when everybody shivers when daddy is talking, the boy child too will want to go out. When I'm talking, you keep quiet. Everybody should shiver. Everybody should like. So the basic place that this thing starts from is the home.
Not even the society.
No, the society is a conglomerate of homes. If we don't have homes, we won't have a society.
Very true.
Somebody living on the mainland, somebody living on the island, somebody living in Badagry, whether we believe it or not, there's always a difference in their character because of where they are growing up with.
Very true.
Where they're growing up in. So it's basically the home that starts this whole thing, which we should look very well into.
Wow. So our home is basically most of the factor why we are even having this program, Family and Values, because to be honest, if the home is not well managed, I think a lot of things just go bad, and at large affect the society, at large the country. And that's why a lot of people keep complaining about leadership. And sometimes when they start saying the leaders, I'll be like, maybe we should even track it down to their home, because at the point I feel like if any leader is not, they are not acting like someone that has blood running through their veins, they should actually check them from their home. And which is one of the things people always say. Before you vote someone out, you have to actually track them down to their home, know their background, know what they have done before, because the home is the key factor, and that is why we are here. It reminds me that around my neighborhood, there's this particular woman. She's a very quiet person, so she's somebody that, she just gets tired. She's not the husband is the person that always with the cane, the rod. If you don't do this, once they hear their father is coming, she will even be the one advising the children, go and clean, go and clean. If your father enters and he feels just one small grain of sand on the floor, he's going to whoop you, like, quickly go and... So he's doing that. But sometimes, people come to report and like, do you know what your child is doing? I was trying to chastise your child and talk to your child. And when I was talking to your child was like, that kind of, that hissing sound. And she was like, she will beg, I'm so sorry. They are children. You understand? She will apologize on their behalf. So one day I called her, like, stop apologizing on this girl's behalf. I think you should talk to her. I said, I used to talk to her. So I now tried talking to the girl. And when I spoke with the girl, she was listening, but you know how a child will pout. Usually when you want to snap a picture, you pout to make it look very fine and sexy. This pouting was, I'm angry with you, don't talk to me. She was just pouting, I was talking to her, that was exactly what I know by teenage rebellion. And the mom is this quiet person that when she's doing that, she'll be like, I've talked. She does not listen. The father have caned and caned. She will not still hear. I'm like, okay, just keep correcting her and don't get tired. Now, at that stage, looking at her, she's already in GSS 3, and I feel like if they don't actually continue, because the mom is already like, she's tired. She does not even intervene. GSS 3. In fact, if she offends somebody, the mom will be the one telling the person, see bitter and no dada eba mi no tori, because she's tired. Do you understand? So at that point now, what do you think a mother can do? Because I feel that just beating that child is not enough. And you know, she says she has spoken and spoken and nothing is changing. At that point, what do you think is the best way to go?
There's a Bible passage, if the foundation be destroyed, the foundation of everything is important. When this girl was 2 years old, when she was 3, when she was 5, when she was 6, what disciplinary measure? Because she would have been exhibiting it.
Of course.
It doesn't just come up in a day. She must have been showing signs of, when they are talking to her, she's in this moody mode, she's in this, please get off my face mode. She's always there. So what has the mother done? Because habits and characters are formed.
Yes.
It is not gotten.
Just like that.
It is formed. It's a process.
Yeah.
When she was 9 years old, I'm sure she must have spoke back to her mother one way or the other. What did the mother do?
And that's
Who are her friends? What are they doing? What is the father and the mother doing to themselves in their house? So for her to get to that stage of even outsiders now being a non-entity in our presence, then a lot has transpired in the home. So basically, most of it, I keep saying it, is from the home.
Right.
Okay, you are now telling us, we know in Yoruba they say that it's all the whole community that trains up a child. But I'm so sure before she got to that stage of wanting others to help her train her, she must have been refusing it.
Of course, yes.
Please, don't touch my daughter. Don't shake Niko.
Yes.
Now it has gotten out of hand. You are now expecting the community to help you put her back in shape. So it begins from when they are 5. There was one study I read in Britain, in UK. It said kids know what they are doing as early as 4 months.
Wow.
I was so surprised too.
4 months?
We had the disabled child then with my brother, blah, blah, blah. So, you know, and they were like, you discover that you just hear her crying. And the next thing you say, it was my sister that beat me. And the father was like, can't you see I can? And the next thing she'll be laughing. What? So she knew what she was doing. So when they went to the doctor and the doctors were telling them, she knows what she is. You that you are seeing her as
innocent.
As innocent. She knows. She enjoys it when they beat the siblings.
Yes.
And she was like, it was later we got to understand that she just enjoys it when they beat others.
Wow. And
the doctors told them, even right from 4 months, she already knows. You know, there are some kids, they want you to carry them. If you don't carry them, they start crying. Immediately you pick them up. What do they stop? They'll start laughing. They start laughing
because they've achieved their aim.
Yes, because they know what they are doing. So parents always saying, is a child, is a baby, is a...
I would totally...
It has been proven wrong.
I would totally agree with you, because I was watching something yesterday on Instagram and I saw whereby a child, once the dad steps out, the baby starts crying. So when the dad comes in and play with the child,
the child is having fun.
He will start immediately. He will start laughing. But once they drop him and he's about to walk off, the baby will just start crying. Like it was a drama that even the caption was more like, babies actually know what they do. Like, it's dramatic.
They know. Like, they know. Science has proven it beyond reasonable doubt that they know what even do. As a child, as a baby. Once a child is 1, 2, that is when you should start inculcating what you want. But because some parents don't even have what they want to inculcate, and you can't give what you don't have.
Exactly, very true.
Most of parents, they are not respectful to each other, even to outsiders, they are not. So how do you want to give it?
That's very true.
It's now painful when they are now dishing it back to you. Your child is looking at you one way. There was an issue we had with one of my elder sister. They were just in secondary school too. And the mother keeps telling them, don't do this, don't do that. One day, I was even afraid that day. She just came home and said, oh yeah, both of you are packing out of my house. What? Everybody was, Auntie, what's the problem? You are packing out. If you can't obey my rules and regulations, I go to work, I suffer, I get the money. We even thought it was a joke. And I was like,
she was serious?
She was serious. What? The kids were crying, Mommy, I didn't mean it like that. Mommy, it's not like, no. Since you are old enough, you can pay the bills, you can buy your food, you can buy your groceries. Do you know that that singular act, I'm so sure the mother thought it through before coming to that singular act, till I left their place, everybody was in check. Mommy, good morning. Mommy, do you want this? Mommy, and I'm like, hey,
the husband is real.
Me too. I made sure I kept that in my left hand. So that
yeah.
You want to be independent?
I'll tell you, please.
You can
not
go.
In my house.
Not in my house. You still want to be under this roof?
Yeah.
You still want to eat my food?
Yeah.
You still want my love?
Yeah.
You still want your stipend you're getting from me?
Of course.
There you go. But because parents don't have it, they can't give it.
Is
a child is what has caused a lot of stubborn and rebellious children.
Wow.
Ah, don't beat him. Ah, don't touch him. Ah, don't. I was talking with my brother like yesterday, and I was like, how is Emmanuel? And he said, it's fine, or he's reading. I said, on Sunday, he knows the time. He knows when to switch on the TV. He knows when to turn it off. But here, any small thing, your child is crying, you give them the phone. Any small thing, you give them the phone. They don't have a time. They know that once I cry, once I shout, or once I start throwing tantrums, they'll give me the phone. It's not meant to be like that. There must be a discipline. There must be a procedure, a process. You know this. I learned another thing from a friend, a very rich friend though. The kids don't watch TV during the week. I've never seen it before. Even I watch TV. I was like, I went there on a visit and I was like, go and put on the TV. I'm talking with your mom. And he said, no, we don't watch TVs during the week. And I turned to my friend, are you sure? He said they don't watch, it's on weekends.
Oh, wow.
Honestly, I was so amazed. I am
amazed.
I don't
like in this time,
yes,
children are watching TV.
They don't watch TVs during the week.
Wow.
But once it's Saturday morning, and even what they are watching is controlled. How many parents can do that?
Can do that.
That we don't even know what they are watching now on TV, on phones. On phones. There was a teenage we were cancelling. Once she comes back from school, because they don't take phones to school, once she puts the blanket on her head till like 8 p.m. We didn't know what she was watching until something happened. Do you know what she was watching?
Oh, she was watching?
Oh, no.
Oh my God.
And the parents didn't know. Because any small thing, the phone, once this phone gets spoiled, they don't even give you 24 hours before they replace it or repair it.
No, that's not healthy.
It's not at all. So that's where the issue lies. The parents, what are you giving them once they are growing up? Don't wait till they are teenagers. Don't wait till they are 9, 10, 11. No, my mother was a teacher. Teacher. God bless her soul. Everybody knows what my mother wants. So don't step your bounds. Everybody knows what my mother wants. So you now as a parent, does your kid know that you shouldn't touch this water at this particular time? Does your kid know that, if I'm talking, I shouldn't be shouting? If mom is talking, I have kids that when their parents are talking, they are talking back. 200 words per minute. What? And I'm like, no, you can't do that with me.
No,
it's not possible. But because they've not stopped it when it was still like behavioral traits they were trying out.
Okay.
There's always a stage of trying out for kids, teenagers.
So is there an age that people should start watching out for, that these things can start popping up before it gets
5
too
years
bad?
old.
5 years.
Even 5 years, I would say in our own society, because we have a kind of, I won't call it slow mental development, but as from 5 years old, you should be able to study your child. You should be able to sit down. There's always this joke online. When we were growing up, once your mother just wink at you, you already, don't try that now. No, they'll ask you, did something else? It shouldn't. We should still be enjoying that thing now. We should, yes. That when you look at your child, is like,
understand.
A friend of mine, you know, abroad you can't beat. I just said, let us get home. I will give you a telese. And I was like, what is a telese? She doesn't beat them on the body because they could get to the school and show them. So when they get home, when I tell you to do, she will now turn their feet upside down and beat them very well. So when their mom is telling them, I will, and you know, they don't know what, I will give you a telese.
It will sit up.
Because they know,
they know what
it is. So she found a way around
it.
You can't be, but you can't discipline your child. You can't talk to them. Okay, You are the one that when everything happens, you are not the one that...
Yes.
She now found a way around it. How many parents will do that? Ah, you won't kill me or you this child. Is that discipline?
That's not discipline.
That's not discipline.
It even make them spoiled.
Yes. Once you've tried cajoling them, doing this, but like I already said, it's from the... We need to start it early. Being disrespectful, which is very rampant in our country now, started from an early stage.
Right.
How can I be talking as your mother or your father and you are talking back at me? But because they didn't stop it, the kids now go out. Even if all your hair is white hair, they don't care.
They don't care.
Teenage boys will want to beat you. They want to be touching you, hugging you.
It's the teenage boys for me.
Like, what? Seriously?
Very true.
Like what?
Because I've seen a lot of people, you know when they come and they want a greet, and naturally, even if you just say good morning without the bow or anything, it's fine. But when they now like want to hug me, I'm like, what's wrong with you? I baited you, like I carried you. I bait. Are you
That's where disrespect starts. Exactly. Because they don't see the woman. Because girls is what goes after them. Yeah. They've now transferred it to a woman. They don't see the species of a woman as something to be valued. So, like last week or so, we were at a party. Like you rightly said, I baited them, but because he's tall, he's like nearly 6 feet, he just came from behind. I hug you, and I was like, come to my front and mommy, mommy. I'm like, I want you to prostrate and greet me. And there are girls there. Yeah. Oh, you have to prostrate. Mommy, it's your own. The prostrate is yours. Don't worry. I'll give you. You have to give me. He did though. Because if you stop it there, the next time he will still come back. Yes. But now he knows, I don't want you hugging me. Yes. I want you.
Next time when he sees you, he will not go for the hug, he will go for the...
Even if it's just to bow.
Yes.
So I don't want this woman's wala. Let me just quickly... But parents don't stop. They are being social. They are being nice. All those things is a character development. It's a process. And once you don't stop it, it becomes a habit.
Yeah.
Something they are doing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 10 times, and nobody is complaining.
Sometimes when I watch some movies and I see how the international people behave, the children behave to their parents. Sometimes the parents like, Daddy, I said, shut up, you're talking too loud. I'll be like, like in my head will be singing like, oh no, not in Nigeria. They would have spanked you or whoop your ass, or you're going to go inside and they will use, what's that thing they call? Wire. They will use wire. But you see the way they talk to their parents, and their parents will be like, I'm talking to you. Please. I'll be like, you're begging a child that is disrespecting you to listen to you. So it's deep.
Don't let's be deceived. It's not all of them. I've traveled. It's not all of them.
It's not all of them.
It's not. That's just the projection that we see more.
On movies.
Yes, that's what we see more. We have white people that are disciplined.
Oh, okay.
That I keep preaching it everywhere. Do you know Kate Middleton? The kids don't use tablet or phones. Google it.
Really?
It's there. They don't.
So what do they use?
They go to school, they read, and they socialize.
That's it.
That's it. It's not yet time for phone. My little nephew called me like a month ago and was like, Mommy, I have bad news for you. And I'm like, stop that. What is bad news? You can't give bad news. Mommy, no. Do you know what he wanted to tell me? The sister spanked him. That's the bad news. Do you know where he picked up those words?
What?
The cartoon.
Oh.
Before he's going to school, he's on the phone. Once he's back in the car, so that it doesn't disturb the dad, he's on the phone. Once he finished eating,
it's on the phone.
And those are the languages they use. Mommy, do you know somebody just used the F word? And I'm like, you are just 7. What is F word? They already know. What? So we should not be... Those devices are really pouring into them. And whether we believe it or not, we are spirit beings. Those things just seep into your subconscious.
Without even knowing.
Without you knowing. It's when you now need it, you just discover that.
It comes up.
It comes up.
And you'll be like, wow.
Wow. Because I was so amazed. Bad news. Your dad didn't call me that there's bad news. It's you.
Exactly. When you said bad news, I was like, did something bad happen?
Honestly, nothing bad happened. But because there's this, I forgot the name, because I had to probe him more.
To know exactly.
No, you know, they keep saying it's bad news when they go to the groceries and they didn't get maybe apple or something.
It's bad news.
Like, oh, there's a bad news. I couldn't get the apple. And I'm like,
if you come to Nigeria and see the real bad news.
So honestly, it's not all the so-called white people
that actually
for the lack of use of another word. It's not.
Okay.
It's not. We have disciplined international. Let me use your word.
Yeah,
international people. Seriously, you need to get in them. You need to see them. They have. Not the African descent.
No, not the African.
No, not those ones.
Yeah.
I'm talking about the real full-blooded.
Yes.
We have a lot.
Wow.
We have a lot.
That's a beautiful thing. Now, I want to ask a question first before we talk about the advice and how parents can actually manage that rebellious stage. The question is, do children who are not yet teenagers actually go rebellious?
Yes, they do. Yes, they do. That's why I said from 5 we should take a proper look into our kids' behavior, because it's an inherent thing. Well, the way they are growing, they want to exhibit their independence. The way they are growing, they want to try a lot of things. So it's the duty of the parents to put them in check. They don't know. Like I keep saying, children don't know. Teenage don't know. There's a Yoruba adage that says, what a child will see standing, the adult sitting down will see further. So it's always the duty of the parents to let them know that no, they will want to try it. They want to be disobedient. They want to be rebellious because they don't know. They think, but I'm a girl. I should be able to talk for myself. I'm a boy. Nobody should push me around. They want to try it, but it's now the duty of the parents to put them in check. So it needs to start early. No, you don't do this. You don't talk to people like that. What is the so-called home training? It's always words and discipline. Words and discipline balanced together is home training. When they say you lack home training, it's not that they are beating you every day. It's not that they are starving you of food. Home training is telling you this is the way, walk therein.
I love that. This is the way, walk therein. Okay, so before we, ask, like I said, ask the last question. For the last question, I want to ask, does rebelliousness, does it actually turn into crime if not well managed?
You said it all. It does. It does. Once you are rebellious to your parents, you'll be rebellious to the laws of the society. Because we say nobody should talk to me. And the president, the governor is not somebody you see. You are like, no. I want to smoke. Why should somebody be telling me I can't smoke weed? Why should somebody telling me I can't take these drugs? And the laws of the land says no to it. The laws of the land says obey traffic lights when you get there. But I beg. I'm in a hurry. Nobody should stop. Nobody should control me.
So that means all these keke drivers are very rebellious.
Very, very rebellious. If you are driving on Lagos Road, you will know they are really rebellious.
Oh my word. If I'm in Lagos, I believe that 90% of the people that drive in Lagos are rebellious. Because
seriously rebellious.
They don't listen. They don't even obey the sign.
They will even expect you that you are on the right lane, obeying the to wait for them.
Yes. In fact, let me go as far as saying the police, the army, the soldiers, even as far as them, they even go rebellious. Because when you say this is the route you're supposed to take, you see them, this is the way, then there's another one coming. You see them
that one way.
Exactly. That
it all
one
started from it's orientation, it's the mindset, it's what they grew up with. And coming out from their home, what they are now seeing. The society portrays more of negativity. There's a saying, you will only hear when there's a plane crash. But do you know how many planes have been flown this morning that landed safely? Nobody makes noise about it. But if there is a plane crash, God forbid, it
flies very fast.
And with the advent of internet, within 5 minutes, all over the world, they've known. So the society projects more of negativity more than the positive things. So them coming from a home that has encouraged rebellion and being stubborn, being rude, to a society that is always portraying negativity. You can imagine.
So now let me ask this. So how about the ladies? Let me go to our ladies before we go to the men. How about our ladies that actually always, you know, dress indecently? Let me use that word. Dress indecently. And of course, our men who are somewhat uncontrollable. Would you say that was the act of being rebellious as a child and, you know, pushes them outside and they continue doing that to the society?
Do you know this dressing thing really pains my heart? Really, really pains my heart. Every opportunity I have to talk about it, I always say something. If you are somebody close to me and you are not dressed properly, it's not being quarrelsome or anything. There's a way I tell you. You yourself, you will feel embarrassed. I won't fight you. Why should I fight you? It's part of being rebellious. And it starts from childhood. Your child is growing up. They want to go to a birthday party. All neck, all the back is showing. They are wearing bomb shorts. And the child and the child is doing all this thing, and you're like, hey, go.
Are you still
the
child will even be twerking?
Yes.
My child knows how to dance.
And you're clapping. Now when that girl gets to 10 years old, and she's like, no, mommy, this is the dress. And you want to say, no, you can't.
You have to cover yourself up.
Something that she has grown with.
Yes.
Okay, let's leave the parents aside. The society too, what they are projecting.
Outside.
And I keep telling them, everything valuable is always covered. To get gold, do you know where gold is? Do you know where diamond is? Do you know where oyster is?
Yes.
Oyster pearl.
Yes.
Everything valuable is always covered. It's all, and there was this survey going on. Men say they are not the one asking for women to be opening their body.
In fact, one comedian actually came and said, my wife will not open her body. But if you open your body for me, no wahala, I like it, I will look at it.
Most men are not the ones saying they should open their body.
Yes.
Party, maids of honor now is nothing to write home about. All the body parts is exposed.
And you see the men, they will wear their suits, you know, dress up, looking fine.
It's so heartbreaking. It's so when I see maids of honor that want to dress like the groomsmen, I'm happy.
Yes,
I'm happy with their suits and tuxedo,
very nice.
And you now see our ladies coming out everywhere. The slit of their dress now
to the lap.
What is the essence? That's the first thing I ask. Okay, you are dressed like this. What's the essence? What's the advantage? And they can't even tell you anything.
They'll say they feel comfortable. Actually,
they don't. They don't. I can tell you they don't. I've seen brides that have set rules for the type of dress that you can sew with their shredding. It's so disheartening. It doesn't give respect to that woman. Everybody looks at you and ease. And a small child growing up will see auntie's dress. Half of her breast is coming out. Half of her bum is out. And you expect the kid to see you as something he should respect. Once you expose your body, you've become an object, not a person. And objects are not respected.
They are being used.
They are being used. In the process of exposing, they slap you, they do everything. It doesn't give you value.
It's so sad, actually.
It is.
Anyway,
let's discuss that today.
Yes, please. In a few seconds, because our time is already up already. In a few seconds, short advice. What advice will you give to parents about this teenage rebelliousness?
Catch them young. It has always been said, it is there in memorial. Catch them young. Start early with your kids. As early as 4, 5. Once they start the primary school, once they're out of kindergarten, start with them. They listen. That's the way God made us. We listen, we store it in our subconscious. You might think those kids don't understand what you are saying. It's when they get to where they will use it, you will discover that they were really listening to you. And please, the way we show love in our African setting is too strict, for the lack of the use of words. We should show love. We should balance love and discipline.
Yes.
Discipline a child. But when you want to talk, let it be in a loving manner. Discuss with them. But why did you two do it? You know it's not, but mommy, I was feeling tired. I wanted to do it, but you didn't give me time. I gave you time. You must be able to explain. Lovingly.
Understand.
Not that you won't, for even disobeying you, there must be a discipline. I told you to get something, you didn't get it. There must be, discipline is not beating. It's not always beating.
It's not always
a quick one. I had these 2 boys, blah blah blah, blah blah. You know, whenever I go there and the younger one does not want to greet, anything I bring, I give the senior one. I didn't know it was always touching him. He will now go to the mommy, auntie did not give me. The mother will now, you two greet her. Right. If you want her to give you something, greet her.
So she'll give you something.
So it's as simple. It's not until you will I go and beat another person's child.
No.
But immediately, maybe like a month later, I went there. He was the first person that came out. Auntie, and I'm like, hey, and I brought for one person because I had to give it to him.
Right.
Beating is not the only way. No.
Okay, our time is already fast spent. I would like to add this, to our African homes. I noticed a lot of homes, I was discussing it with somebody. Some persons find it hard to tell their children, I love you. Please learn to tell your children, I love you. There's nothing, it's not a big deal. Because why a lot of children, when they grow up and they hear somebody tell them, I love you, they tend to have the wrong feeling, have the wrong notion. They will probably even take everything from you, from another person, to give to the person, because that's the first time they are hearing somebody say, I love you. So sometimes, when you even discipline your child, when they are doing good, you know, clap for them, cheer them on. And of course, always get used to the word saying I love you, so that when you are growing old too, at that stage when you feel like, oh, my children are married, they have children, I'm a granddad, they can actually call you and tell you, daddy, thank you so much, I love you. You see it's even more beautiful, because why, you've put it back into them and they are giving it back to you. So it's a good thing. Let's try and put that into consideration.